Hi, we're going to talk about our experiences with our favorite value resort, Pop Century. We thought we would start out talking about why Pop is our favorite of the value resorts. In your value category, you have all-star music, movies, and sports. They're considered by Disney to be separate resorts, but in my mind they're all the same because the rooms are identical. They do each have their own food court and pool, but the similarities to me are greater, and the theming's different, but the similarities are greater to me than the differences.
So we stayed at All-Star Movies, right?
I believe it was movies.
A long time ago.
We've only stayed once. Yeah. And then the other value is Art of Animation, but I'm going to put a caveat on that. To me, the only value rooms there are the Little Mermaid rooms.
Yeah,
and they're pricey. Then they're still more expensive than Pop or All Stars. The family suites are very nice, but they're well over $300 towards the upper end of $300 list price, depending, of course, on what time of the year you look. Whereas you can get two rooms at one of the other values for cheaper than that.
Because we did look into that when we one of the trips with my sister, right?
Right, with the family.
Do we do the suite?
And it's expensive. It's more.
2 rooms is cheaper.
Well, and it's more than the cabins at Fort Wilderness, which is considered a moderate, and it costs more than that. So
pricing, Pop Century is in the middle. The All Stars is the cheapest, and then the Art of Animation is the most expensive.
Right, and you may see differences. That's list price. If there's a discount at one and not at the other, that can change those numbers. And always check for discounts because they frequently have discounts around 3 months before the dates that you're going to stay. So let's start with All Star and why we like Pop better than All Star.
Well, the food court.
Yes. I would totally
we like
agree.
our food, so.
Yeah, well, no, it's a huge difference though. The food court at Pop, plus you have access to Art of Animation's food court as well, because there's a bridge that connects the two resorts, and they're pretty close. I mean,
well, sometimes we would even take the bus from the park to Art of Animation. Actually, that's another plus we'll talk about later. But you could take the bus to Art of Animation with the intent of going to their food court, take something back to your room.
Yep. And speaking of buses, while we're on that, to me this is the biggest disadvantage of All Stars. There's 3 bus stops. Now I have heard rumors in super busy seasons, say Christmas, sometimes they'll run more buses and not stop at all 3 stops. But typically all the times that we've been over there, they stop at all 3 resorts. So you're going to have 3 bus stops. You're either going to be first, second, or last. Yeah. And if you're last, the bus is going to be full when it gets to you. So I think for us, that was the biggest negative.
Yeah, and I think more kids.
But that was my third negative.
Especially the school groups and cheerleader groups.
Pop
Warner.
Football,
definitely the Pop Warner. They all stay at the All-Star resorts.
And especially sports. So if you do want to stay at All-Star and try to avoid the groups, I would stay away from sports. I think that attracts the most groups.
Yeah.
And that makes the food court difficult because if you happen to go there when one of those large groups all decides to go to the food court, that happened to us when we stayed there.
Well, the food court is smaller too, right?
The lines are huge, and it's like the lines to check out. So to me, that's a pretty big disadvantage. Yeah. And the other thing is they're loud, especially the cheer groups, because they'll start chanting in the cafeteria or at the pool. So it's not very relaxing. If you don't mind noise, might not bother you, but we didn't really care for that aspect of it.
All right, let's talk about some Pop Century.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about Art of Animation because we did actually stay in the suite. We'll just talk about it briefly. The food court at Art of Animation is very nice.
Small.
I wouldn't call it small. It's smaller than Pop. It's smaller than Pop. The thing that's nice about it compared to Pop is it's a lot of create your own.
Yeah,
so if you've got picky eaters, that's a huge plus.
Because it's all pretty much cooked to order.
Yeah.
I think it's all cooked to order?
Almost. No, I think there's a few set things. Remember, because they had like the burger with the shrimp on it. They have some set things. Yeah. But they have a make your own salad, a make your own pasta. They do have some sort of global dishes that are pre-made as well, like Indian and Asian. But you can get things there that you can't get other places. So I would say it's still better than your average food court. And then the pools are great there. We actually stayed at the Big Blue Pool, which is the Nemo Suites, and it was fantastic. I haven't used the other pools, but I've heard they're good as well. The one thing I will say about the Little Mermaid Suites, which again are the only really value rooms, everyone I've talked to who has stayed there, and we haven't, said it's a 10-minute walk if you're walking at a decent pace to get to the food court. It's pretty far from the main building because I don't think
those are the normal mermaid, not the suites.
There are no mermaid suites. They're all the normal rooms. They're just like pop size rooms, only newer. And I don't think any building at Pop is 10 minutes from its food court, no matter where you are. Yeah. So that would be another sort of downside. So you're paying more to stay at the Little Mermaid Suites, and then you're having to walk further to get to your food court. So I think that's about it for Art of Animation. Then Pop.
Art of Animation has the covered bus.
Oh yes,
so it's shaded when you're standing out there.
We did talk about that. Pop does not have their bus stop covered. And I guess Disney learned, hey, in this blistering heat, it's kind of nice to have, shade. So they do have covered bus stops. And you can use their bus stop, so you can always walk over and use their bus stop instead of using Pop's, even if you're staying at Pop. So that's another tip.
We've done that several times.
And we've also done it coming back. If there's no Pop bus, but the Art of Animation bus rolls up, as long as you don't mind walking a few minutes.
Yeah, it's not that far, and I actually enjoy it because I like to. It's fun to see the other resort, walk through, see the pool, go across the bridge.
Definitely. Oh, and I should mention though, if you're staying at Pop, you cannot use the pool at Art of Animation. They do restrict it to your room key, so don't think that you can pool hop. You can't. Now you can hop the other way because Pop's pool is not restricted. They don't have a fence around it.
It might be because they started fencing a lot of the pools. I think all the pools now are fenced.
Oh, really?
But it's if it's actually gated to the band, it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
So let's cover some pros and cons of Pop Century.
Okay.
Might as well start with the cons first because I think that's a short list for me anyway.
No, it is.
Well, I love Pop more than she does.
Yes, but there's one very specific reason that's important to me.
Cons are small beds. They're, what are they called? Full size?
Full size.
Two full size beds.
Which is a misnomer. It's tiny.
Typically, we'll start the vacation off sharing the bed, and by the end of vacation, we're like, nope, and we're going to separate beds. Now you can get king size, but those are only in the we call them accessible rooms.
I've heard rumors there's some that aren't accessible, but if you request a king room, there's no guarantee it won't be accessible.
Yeah.
And everyone we stayed in was accessible. And you think, well, what's the big deal? The bathroom, the shower goes over the whole floor, like even where the toilet is, because there's no lip for accessibility reasons, which I totally get. But for us, we just do not like the water, like even where you go to the toilet. It kind of seems unsanitary too. I don't know. I don't like that. And so we actually opt for the 2 full-size beds instead. And since he brought up the bed, I can get over the size. The mattress quality is terrible. To me, it rolls us together all night. Like we end up, it's already small, and then it causes.
Well, I think it's probably the size of the bed will tend to do that. If you get
it's the bed, and then it's just very uncomfortable. I unfortunately have back issues, and I can stay at Pop like a short trip when we do a 4 or 5 night trip, which may not sound short, but our usual trip is a full week, which ends up being 8 nights, and that is too much for I can't do that with my back.
Another con, I guess, noise. It's not noisy from room to room. It's more outside noise because there's no interior. Right.
So it's like a motel as opposed to a hotel where it opens to the outside. Yeah. So your door goes right out to a breezeway. Our biggest tip is ask for a lake-facing room. Like don't get a preferred room because those are right next to the big pool, like the main pool. It's really loud. I mean, if you don't mind noise, go for it. But we always request basically as far away as we can get from the main building, which I know sounds crazy, but it's so much quieter. It's not. It's like a 5-minute walk, and it's so much quieter. And also ask for a high floor because the pop jet toilets are loud. and you hear those all night long in your room. And so if you're
turbo
on
flush toilets.
Yep. If you're on a top floor, that noise is less. And another tip with that is shut your bathroom door at night when you're trying to sleep. It really masks it. Yeah, it helps.
Other cons? The bus, there's no covered waiting area in the buses.
And, well, I guess part of it's a pro, part of it's a con. And there's tons of people that stay at Pop who go to Magic Kingdom for some reason. I don't know why. I guess because maybe if you've got young children, you don't have lots of money, and so you stay at a value resort. So sometimes the Magic Kingdom line to leave in the morning can be 2 to 3 buses long.
I think that's because of the size of the resort, though.
Yeah, but the lines for the other parks aren't as bad. That's why it seems like it's people who really want to go to Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom's popular. So.
It is. It's probably the most popular of the 4 parks. Is that it for cons?
I think so.
I can't really think of another con because my only issue is the bed. Like, really, I would stay there a lot more if I could tolerate the bed. So if you're young,
the AC, you can't put it down as low as you would want it. I think it goes to the lowest.
I thought the last time we stayed was 60, that they had changed
Well, I think it's hit or miss. So if your AC only goes down to 68, you want to go down lower, which we do. You just call down to the front desk and they'll send someone up to fix that for you.
But
there's an override.
They sometimes give you pushback, so just insist because they can do it. They'll tell you, oh no, we can't do that, and then you say, well, they've done it for us before because they had, and they said, oh okay, and then they sent someone, so they can lower it to 65.
They're reluctant to do it, but they do it.
They will do it, yeah.
All right, pros. Cost.
Lots of pros.
Cost, I mean,
the cost
it's a huge
is fantastic.
Savings.
We've gotten discounted rates recently, like within the last year, for like $98 a night.
Which
that's a great price.
Rivals offsite, in which you get all the benefits of being on-site.
Right,
so.
You get the 60-day Make Your Fast Pass window, you get the on-site transportation, you get the early and late extra magic hours. That's a great deal to me, paying less than $100 a night. Now, you can't always get those prices, but I think even when it's at sort of peak season, list price is $160, and still with all those perks versus staying off site.
I don't know if I pay $160.
Yeah, we've never paid that. We don't pay when it's much over $100. When we go to Pop, it's because we want a really good deal, so we'll wait until we can get it for around $100.
Yeah. Food court's awesome.
Food court's amazing, and also I have to put my word out there for gluten-free.
They're always great with their...
They are fantastic, and I've had multiple chefs, and they always tell me they can make almost anything I see on any of the menus gluten-free. Now, it's not gluten-free by default. You have to ask for them to specially make it for you. But I can get almost anything they have, and it's a huge food court with a lot of selection, and the food's good. I think it's some of the best food court food.
It's huge.
Quick service food.
It's huge, so people are spread out. I mean, it's tons of space,
tons of seating,
and lots of variety for whatever you want to eat.
Oh, and they have, if we don't do the dining plan because it doesn't work for us, but we have done it in the past. If you're on the dining plan, you know your dessert is included with quick service. They have a great ice cream parlor here where, unless they've changed, you can get like a brownie a la mode or this apple crisp a la mode. I mean, those are huge desserts, and it's on the dining plan as a dessert, and so you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck, so to speak, if you're on the dining plan at the Pop Food Court. Because I remember when we had free dining one time, we made sure we went back every evening to eat dinner because we knew we could get a lot more for the money there.
I said the food's good too.
It is good.
Yeah, for Valerie.
Yeah, like just to compare, we just stayed at French Quarter at Christmas, and the food was okay, but it didn't even hold a candle to Pop, and that's a moderate. So you can even compare it to nicer. And I know a lot of people say they like Landscape of Flavors, which is an Art of Animation, better than the Pop Food Court. I don't. I like the flexibility of make your own, but not enough to override Pop's variety. I just feel like Pop has way more offerings.
I say another pro, the pools. There's lots of pools there. So of course they have their one big main pool,
the Hippy Dippy pool,
and then several of the smaller pools, which I think we always tend to go to the smaller pools because they're quieter. Yeah,
they're called quiet pools. They have one pool in front of the 90s building between some of the 80s buildings, and they have another pool over by the 50s building. And it has like a bowling theme, and it has, they play sort of 50s music at the pool. We've never actually gone to the 90s pool, even though we've stayed in the 90s building twice. We walked by it, but we've never actually used it. We never actually went in. I would presume they play either 80s or 90s music there, since that's the buildings. And then of course at the Hippy Dippy pool, you know, it's got the 60s buildings, but they also, I've heard them play modern music too, because that's where they have all the cast members come out and play the games with the kids. Like, it's the loud pool, but it's also the more energetic pool and bigger. And they also have, unless they've changed it, they have the Phantasmic Mickey with water coming out, which is really cute. And they also have a pool bar there, the Petals, I think it's called Petals pool bar. It's a pretty nice pool bar there as well. And I think they have things like ping pong and stuff around that pool. The main one, and that's right outside the main building where you check in and where you go to the food court. It's the main pool, the Hippy Dippy pool. And then, speaking of Hippy Dippy and all the things I just mentioned, we love the theming. The theming is so cute.
It's a different pro. Is the theming. It's like over the top, huge. You know, I don't know what you call them. Not really statues, but.
Well, I guess they are. But I mean, huge, like huge. Like, they have a replica of this Mickey phone that I had when I was a kid in the 70s section that is as tall as the building. I mean, we're talking massive big wheel.
Rubik's Cube.
Super cute. Like, all the theming, but most of it is also Disney themed. I mean, a few of the things don't have anything to do with Disney, like you mentioned the Rubik's Cube, but every section has really good immersive Disney theming as well. Like, the 80s has the Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head from Toy Story. So you see tons of Disney characters, and they even hit you with it as soon as you come in to check in, which I think is really neat. They have this massive wall in the lobby of all this memorabilia from all through the years, and it's really cool stuff. Like,
I highly recommend take a few minutes
to go through that. It's really neat.
I'm sure you'll find something. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Find your childhood decade, whatever that is, and go check out that wall. It's really fun. And the gift shop's very nice. We really enjoy browsing in there. I think it's one of the bigger resort gift shops. Like, it's really huge compared to some of the other resorts. What else for pros? Oh, I think the rooms are nice for the price. If you take the bed out of the equation, they're very small. In fact, you'll see I'm going to include our room tour at the end of this video that we did in September, so it's pretty recent. As soon as you walk in, you almost fall into the bed. Like they're really tight, but you get the two full beds, and then you also get a table and 2 chairs. And we've stayed in even deluxe resorts that you didn't get the table and 2 chairs, which is kind of odd. And even Coronado didn't have the table and 2 chairs. It just had a desk and 1 chair. And so we really like having a proper table with a couple of chairs, because a lot of times we'll bring food back to the room to eat. Just to relax in the room.
Watch a little TV.
Or play tabletop games, whatever. So we love having that table. And then you do get a fridge now. That didn't used to be standard at Values, but it is now. And you get a TV, of course. I think you do not get a coffee maker. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments.
But remember, we're not coffee drinkers. So.
Right, so they may have added it, but they didn't used to have it, but they may have added it. So that might be wrong. And you definitely do not get a microwave. So don't expect a microwave in the room. The bathroom is a little tight, but it's sufficient. And what I do like is the sink is outside of the toilet and shower area, so he can be in the shower and I can be putting makeup on at the sink.
And also there's a privacy curtain to go across that whole area with the sink and bathroom, in case you have someone like still sleeping or something, you want to turn the light on.
Or if you want to open the window so you can look out, so like he always gets ready faster than me, of course. So if he wants to look outside the window, I can pull that privacy curtain while I'm getting ready, and he can hang out and be able to see outside and not keep it closed. So that's nice too. And of course, there's a door to the actual toilet and shower section as well for privacy. And you do get a hair dryer that comes with the bathroom, and I think that's about it for.
There's a safe.
There's a safe.
Yep.
It's a small safe, but there is a safe.
You can put a normal size laptop in there, definitely.
Right, not an extra large, but a regular. Is that about it for the room?
I think so.
Yeah, but I like the rooms, and and the rooms match the theming. Well, they have these runners on the beds that are in all the rooms, because they say like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s on them. but they always have a poster in each room that goes with your decade, and it has all the Disney movies like in sort of a collage fashion for that decade. So like we've been in the 90s most recently, so it was all movies that came out, Disney movies that came out in the 90s, and that's really cute. Yeah. And there's definitely hidden Mickeys and stuff too, which is nice. Yeah. It's cute. So one last thing we wanted to mention is, and this is probably what pushes Pop way above everywhere else for me, is other than the uncovered nature of the bus stop, they seem to have, they are hot stops, but they seem to have the best bus service almost on property. Like I can't really think of a place.
Coming through.
Tons. They keep tons. And they even bring those double buses that have the little xylophone looking thing.
Today we haven't, have we been?
Yes, we've been
once.
on one.
That's right.
I think one time. But they just have constant buses. Yes, they fill up. Yes, you may have to stand, but you shouldn't have to wait that long. Like we came up one day and they were like, oh, we're going to be here forever.
Nope.
They brought 3 buses up like that, and we were on a bus and on our way to Magic Kingdom. So I have to say that's to me a huge plus. Like when we stayed at Coronado, there were more than one day we had to wait 40 minutes or more for a bus to come. You never have that at Pop. I think the most we wait at Pop is like the 20, sort of the standard 20 minutes that Disney tells you that you might have to wait. I don't think we've ever had to wait long. So to me, that's huge because you can waste a lot of time on transportation. So if you don't have a car and you're depending on Disney transportation, that's big. And also it's streetwise matters too. It's located in a good location where they can easily get on the highways and get to the other parks. Whereas by contrast, we just stayed at Bay Lake Towers. It took them forever just to get out of the Magic Kingdom area because of all the lights and traffic.
Well, the speed limit is so
it's very slow.
There.
So I mean, that's another consideration. That I think that makes the Pop buses much more efficient because they get out so much quicker. And then, like we mentioned, you can always get on an art animation bus or the vice versa. Use it to leave. Whatever you want to do. It's only like a 5-minute walk across that bridge and through the Art of Animation lobby.
Which I like that option because when you go back, leaving the park for the day, you're tired. So you sit there and say, oh, wait a minute, there's our animation bus coming right up. So you jump on it.
Yep. Or sometimes you'll come out after fireworks and there's a huge line for Pop, but there's really not much of a line for Art of Animation. Again, just jump in that line, get on that bus. Always good to have options. So I hope this has helped. We wanted to go over Pop because it is our absolute favorite value.
We've been there so many times too.
Yeah, and if you watch our vlogs, you know we mostly stay at deluxe resorts, but yet we still love Pop. And I think that says a lot because the price definitely way better at Pop. So that's why it's our favorite, and I hope this helps those of you who are trying to decide where to stay.
Any questions about it, the resort, let us know.
Yeah, leave it in the comments and we'll do our best to answer. So hang in there because right now we're going to have the room tour that we recorded in September. And we go, we've got 8438. See if I can get a light.
Probably goes down to 65.
Oh, nice. Oh, it smells good too. It smells fresh. This is nice. I'll turn a few lights on. So, if you've never been at Pop before, when you come in, the bed is like right there. So you have to be careful when you walk in, but they're very nice rooms for the price. If I was paying the, what do you call it? The peak season price, I wouldn't be happy. It's like $160, I think, but for this time of the year, for $93, totally worth it. Nice TV, nice tiny fridge, and here's the 90s poster. Each decade gets a different poster, and it's usually, sorry, I got a really bad glare, but it's usually movies and such from that era. And here's the bathroom. The sink is right here that you can see behind Brian.
Pretty dim lights. You can hardly tell it's even on.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to tell if I got my makeup and stuff right. You get this curtain so you can, either shield the light or give yourself privacy, whichever way you're looking at it. And there's only one sink in the value resorts, at least the non-suite value resorts. So here's the toilet, and here's the tub. Nice.